was.
But this was late when I went, it was like 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock at night, so it was...
Okay, so maybe they're just done a delayed
Yeah.
something or other.
All right, good evening, everybody. We're going to bring to order the meeting of the Land and Buildings Committee for February 22nd, 2016. It's 6:30. This evening, we're here to discuss our alternatives on fixing the parking garage. There's been a few meetings from our last one, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over to Scott for a few minutes and kind of let us know where we're at right now.
Thank you, Counselor. So, as you stated, we met on Thursday. Parties have continued to have at least conversation with me. I don't have any major updates from what we discussed Thursday, other than, communication is occurring. I know from that meeting, the committee, stood ready to work with willing partners in finding an equitable solution. We did a little bit more follow-up on the questions of exterior staircase and/or an elevator on the side of the building versus the one within the elevator shaft that's designed within the stairwell within our northernly owned portion of the building. And we did contact Peter Stewart, who was an architect who had done some preliminary drawings and renderings back in the mid to the late 90s, I believe, and got a sense of where he thought numbers might come in for that exterior staircase that would be, somewhat enclosed, but be visible from, like a plexiglass or a glass plastic type of material of some sort. And he also spoke about an exterior elevator. And again, preliminary numbers, he had checked with a contractor, I guess he's got a connection with. We feel comfortable that $400,000 range that we were talking for both projects, the stairwell and an elevator, whether the elevator is inside or outside of the building, but with the stairwell, we feel comfortable that would work within that $400,000 figure that we've been talking about all the way along. Beyond there, not a whole lot new update. The city has, talked about, obviously looking to fund its portion of the garage. Tried to look at some financing mechanisms on how we could fund the privately owned portion with a possibility of the city taking ownership and looking at either a capital contribution or some kind of an annual cash flow for leased spaces or a combination thereof. So I think we're open to many different types of approaches, but again, we're dealing with two different parties here. One is the current owner, one is the potential buyer, and part of the situation we're running up against is they certainly need to come to an agreement between the two of them on this transaction, of which then the city can, partner with them as to whatever approach makes the most sense.
Okay. Thank you, Scott. I think tonight the committee here needs to come to some kind of conclusion, well, not a conclusion, but something to bring to the council tonight and let them know what direction we're going to go in with this whole thing. There's probably a couple options of, one is maybe not doing anything right now and waiting till the two people get together and decide on the sale or what they're going to do. The second would be the council has done, the city and the council has done due diligence as far as coming up with an estimate for the project. And we kind of know where that's going to be, but the hidden factor is whether or not the present owner or the new owner will contribute to their side of the repair. So I would like to have the council kind of discuss on where we think, or this committee, where we think we're going to go to inform the whole council tonight. I think some kind of direction should be given. We've been kind of going around this now for a little bit. Nothing was wasted because we've got better estimates. We've got estimates on the outside stairway and elevator now. So we're on the city side, we kind of know where we're at. What's the unknown, unfortunately, is, the two principals that are looking at this garage going to come to some kind of a decision, and if they are they going to contribute, are they not? Are they willing to sell it, or, or not? So I'd be interested in hearing from the committee members here on the avenue we should take to present this to the council tonight.
As far as I'm concerned, I feel the same way. We've got to do something. Either go forward with what the city's portion is of it and keep coming up with what we need to come up with, or we wait for them to make their decision on what they're going to do. I don't know.
I'd recommend a course of action that's conditionally to proceed with it, subject to terms and conditions that we would discuss in non-public session in terms of a negotiation parameters for the manager to put something together for us that would meet the satisfaction of the full council.
Okay. I guess part of my concern is that, if we go ahead with this and do the repairs, we really don't know whether the new owner is going to buy it or the present owner is going to keep it. I think probably if the present owner keeps it, then we're going to fix it and be stuck with the $300,000, most likely, but we don't know that for sure. There's still like a gray line here of, what should we do?
I think in principle, I think we've agreed we should fix it
Yeah.
correctly, and we should fix it so that it adds value to what is there already, by way of the aesthetics of it and the accessibility of it. But I think that's conditional on proper participation of the parties.
Yeah.
Absolutely, that's my feeling. If we're going to pay for it, they got to help us.
I'd hate to delay it anymore, because we can allow the engineers time to do their thing with their paperwork and get us a plan on how it's going to be repaired. And, if we keep delaying it, then it's going to take them that much longer. And we're looking at 2 to 3 months to do that, right, Bob?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. So did you have anything to add, Paul, at all, or?
I guess just the timing thing was, I guess, the big thing with regard to the new owners, potential owners, and how that would fit into the engineer getting a bid package ready
Yeah.
for bid.
Because, even if the sale doesn't happen or whatever, we still got to fix our part of it and get that going, because we don't want to lose the garage as far as parking spaces, right?
Mhm.
So, all right then, so what is the committee's wishes? Do you want to make a motion, Henry?
Make a motion to conditionally recommend to the full council the complete project as described in the engineering report. Sorry, name of your firm,
Du Bois and King.
Du Bois and King's report, which included, making it right structurally on all dimensions, as well as, facade and elevator,
Yeah, well,
stairway. Yeah.
Okay. So a motion's been made. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay, you second
I'll
it?
second it.
Okay. Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Oh,
Just for clarification, is that to move ahead with the engineer design at this point, or just that conceptually we're on board as a city to work with a willing partner to accomplish that goal? I'm just trying to get clarification as to whether we leave here, and if the council endorses that, whether we're moving forward with that next phase of bid documents or not.
I guess, I don't know what engineering's left to be completed, but I don't know if we have to go as far as bid documents until we know if there's, I'm not sure how you cut off the scope of the engineering work, but wouldn't seem to me that we'd want to go out to bid, because I'm not sure we can do all we want to do if we don't get participation.
That's why I just want to make sure that where we're actually going. I think part of it is with Genesis as being the potential owner and around what they described as their time frame, we knew that we needed to keep the process moving, and that's why originally we thought about having a decision tonight, knowing that we don't have everything lined up. We could still, get a decision and move forward at either of our meetings in March, but I'm thinking a little bit of the urgency of wanting a definitive answer tonight about moving forward. We're still in flux, and we're not sure if Genesis is moving forward and will be the owner of that building. So I'm just wondering if we're committed to the proper repair as outlined in the engineer's report, but we're in a holding pattern pending, favorable participation that's approved by the city council.
I think this committee, according to the motion, is that we are in favor, well, we're going to vote here in a second, we're still in discussion, but are in favor of moving the project forward, doing the engineering on it. We can probably discuss as a council about the add-ons, if they want to do that or not. But to me, they should be bidded as a part of the whole project and contained within that bid instead of doing it afterwards. It would save the city quite a bit of money by doing that, so, is that,
Right, I just want to be able to give direction with, obviously, Bob and his firm here as to what his next step is leaving here. Is it just, okay, we're going to move forward and complete the design, so when the time comes, we're ready to go? I just wanted that clarification.
Well, from what I understand, right now is not the optimal time to put it out to bid either, right?
No. Our schedule, our goal was to put it out to bid by April 1st, and that is the deadline that we need to go out to bid in order to complete some construction by October 1st was the latest.
That was under the original timeline to meet Genesis needs to
I
do
mean,
that.
From what there's sort of two aspects of the Genesis thing, and I'm not speaking for Genesis, I'm only speaking on the technical side of the bonding, as I understand it. From the time that they take out the bond, they have 6 months in which to spend 5% of the proceeds, and up to 3 years to spend the rest of it. Now, understanding from their perspective, from a financing standpoint, they can't afford to borrow the money and just hold it, pay 3% or 4% on it, and only on the construction fund earn 0.1%. So time's of the essence for them, but it isn't, I think, an absolute hard situation, assuming all the other pieces can be worked out.
Well, our understanding is that the critical timeline is not having to do with Genesis spending the money. It's for the city to make repairs to the second level of the garage before Genesis renovates their the commercial area of the garage. Our repairs to the second level deck are going to make that second level waterproof, but we're also going to do damage to the areas below. So we need to do our repair work before Genesis comes in with their contractor.
Right. But if there's no deal between the current owner and Genesis, then that timeline isn't, we don't know that to be a certainty.
Right, we don't need to start our work by August 1st if that wasn't the timeline that we were agreeing to with Genesis. If it's
right.
not Genesis or someone else, then we've got some more flexibility.
And right now, there is no deal.
Correct. So that's why I was asking, are we moving ahead with, the full-blown, plans at this point now, a bid package of engineer design, or are we taking an intermediate position that we're willing to be responsive and react in short notice and be a willing partner, but maybe we're going to kind of stop and not take it to the next phase of the drawings? That's what I'm just asking for clarification on.
I guess I'm looking for some clarification from our engineer here in terms of what are the points that we could take it to short of bidding it that would reduce the commitment the city has to make on that?
Well, at this point, we could just design the repairs to the city's portion.
If we were interested in having the full engineering done, but short of construction, is there a difference between that and putting together a spec to put out to bid? I assume the engineering's one set of work, and then there's another phase of actually putting together a spec, which incurs additional costs for us.
Well, that's the next phase that my firm needs direction or notice to proceed with. Is our next phase is to prepare bid documents, which is plans and specifications.
So can you distinguish between plans and specifications and the process of putting it out to bid? Is there
Or is there a logical breaking point in the process between where we are today and getting the bid package ready to go out, somewhere in the middle, that we could work up until this midpoint, and it would make sense, but we didn't expend the full funds to create the bid package? Is there a logical stopping point, or are you at the point now where you need to create?
We need to start our work by March 1st.
That's
We
not
need,
answering the question.
No,
though.
just-
we need 2 months.
But
to
that's not
prepare-
answering the question.
It-
We're asking,
well, all right.
for is there a phased approach to completing the work that otherwise would take it out to bid?
Yes, we complete bid documents, plans and specs by April 1st. And at April 1st, the city could decide if they want to put those plans out to bid or not. That would be the next phase.
So you're
Where-
saying-
Can I just ask, where are you now as far as the engineering piece of that garage? I mean, have you must have done quite a bit to get the new estimates that you gave us? Or have you come up with any kind of a design at all of replacing the actual structure, or are you to that point at all?
Yes, I am, but I'm not under contract to do that. I guess I'll confess my company has taken a risk and has already started to develop repair plans
Okay,
in order to keep this schedule of being ready by April 1st.
I see, okay,
But we're not under contract with the city to do this work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay. So in Henry's line, then, you're at the point where you could actually go ahead and start the bid documents, or close to it?
Start preparing bid documents,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
And there's not a logical breaking point between where we are now and completing a set of bid documents, other than, as you pointed out, you could just focus on the city portion now and the private later, but in looking at the project in its entirety, you're moving forward, and the next step is preparing bid documents without a logical halfway point to stop.
I'm not sure a logical...
Well,
I think we want to get some progress towards the bid documents, but maybe not commit to the full dollar amount at this point. So we don't want to duplicate efforts or be redundant, but is there a logical step short of the full-blown bid documents that keeps us on track but doesn't have us expend as much money out up front right now until we have a firm plan and a partner in place that we're working with?
Well, I'd say with that, it would be preparing bid documents, plans and specs only for the city-owned portion repairs, not the privately owned portion of the garage, and also excluding at this time any of the add-ons that have been discussed, such as the outside stairs and the elevator.
But I mean, even though you do that, you do your documents, I mean, it's up to us to vote on whether it continues, whether we send it out to bid.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, even though the documents have been prepared, we have that authority to say, well, we're waiting, we're not going to go out until we find out what's going on, right, Bob? And
Correct.
Scott?
Sure. And then I think those documents certainly have some shelf life to them. I mean, the deterioration and the fix is what it is, and within a relatively short period of time, whether it's a couple of months or 6 or 9 months, this still would be
Yeah, things
a
shouldn't
valid
change
set
much.
of documents, obviously.
Now, if you're not doing the private portion with this, that's going to affect everything as far as going out to bid. I mean, if you're not doing that and the sale goes through, then how will that mess you up as far as getting the bid document out in first
Just
2
have
weeks
it-
of April or whatever?
We'd have to add on to the bid documents the repairs to the private areas.
Okay.
Can we approach it sort of like we did with the school projects? As we do add alternate, we could do the private section as an add alternate, we could
Yeah.
do the
Did you do that?
elevator as an add alternate, we could do the stairwell as an add alternate, and do it, prepare it.
I just had one question, Bob, that I'm
Sure,
not
Paul.
if this will help enough. Bob, is your estimate right now, based on all of your numbers, your estimate for engineering, am I right, was around 120? 120,000, that included the design for repairs on the public portion and the private portion, correct?
Public portion,
Okay, the private portion is not in that number.
no, and nor is the add-ons we've been talking
Okay.
about.
Do you know what that figure is? I'm just wondering, when you add those together, I was just trying to put in perspective the total engineering package, if everything were going to be done, and then what percentage of that is devoted toward bidding and actually putting it out to bid, which is a relatively small percentage, putting it out to bid. So I was just trying to distinguish, Bob, and I see the 120 for the engineering here.
I thought that 120 was for the entire, the city portion was 2 million, the private portion was 290, and the 120 was the entire design bid engineer
I don't know if you
line
want-
item.
Right, but the add-ons, the exterior stairs.
Yeah, plus the
and
add-ons.
elevator wasn't included in that.
Right, but the 120 was the city portion of the structure
Yes.
and the private portion, and it would be an added cost to do the two add-ons.
So we still have a motion on it, too.
Yeah.
So conditional, on an agreement among the parties, if we recommend proceeding, but that we're going to take the step to put ourselves in a position to move by completing the engineering with add alternates as we just described.
Okay, you second that? All right, so that's basically the first motion, so what I'll do is I'll have a vote on that. All those in favor? Aye.
Let's make sure we have that.
You have that down, okay? Okay.
Read it back just so we make sure we have it. You have the direction.
I've got it. You want to move forward on it, and you want to have the private, the city-owned part as the main item, and then add-ons for the private part, the stairwell and the elevator, but do all the work to it and have those as add-ons.
And we're conditionally recommending moving forward, subject to reaching agreement with the parties.
Yes.
But we're going to move forward on the engineering because we may end up just doing the city portion.
Absolutely.
Is that something you're okay with, Bob, as
Yes,
far
yes,
as doing the
that's-
private portion as an add-on? I mean, that's what was being discussed. The private,
Yes,
for the
or-
private portion, in other words, engineer it, and that would go out to bid or whatever, if we decide to send it out to bid as an add-on to the bid.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else that this committee has? Scott, do you have anything else? No. Paul? Bob? Do you have anything else you want to bring? Okay, Henry?
I just think we should have a non-public to talk about terms and conditions of your trying to work out.
Yeah, as I get anything of substance, definitely would.
I'd like to have something proactively after this if we possibly could. Is that possible?
Yeah, I don't know if I've got anything that would be, I think that could be better conducted in March 14th, then I could have some handouts and some scenarios so that it made sense. I can talk about it tonight, but,
Or yeah, maybe we can just have a brief one to give you some suggestions, maybe?
sure, just so you know, we're also going to have we're already scheduled for one non-public tonight afterwards, so
All right, so maybe you'll have two.
we might do that.
Okay. All right, so if there's no other,
You didn't vote on it yet.
yeah, we did.
Voted on it?
You voted?
I thought we were just adding each other's thing on here, but
No, we voted on bringing it before the council. Okay, so I'll take a motion to adjourn.
second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're adjourned at 7,
6:50.
yeah, 6:52, is it? That sound good?
Close enough.
Not at the moment.